All right, today the movie is The Shining, released on June 13th, 1980. Welcome to Brandon at Random Reviews, covering one unsystematically chosen movie at a time, based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King, who actually hated this movie adaptation, by the way. Directed by Stanley Kubrick. For the cast, we have Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance, Shelley Duvall as Wendy Torrance, Danny Lloyd as Danny Torrance, and Scatman Crothers as Dick Haller. For the plot synopsis, a man becomes caretaker of a large hotel when it shuts down for the winter, and the months-long isolation takes a psychological toll on him and his wife and son. Alright guys, let's just dive right into this motherfucking movie. This movie is among the most popular of the dozens of screen adaptations of Stephen King's stories, and apparently the popular author really did not care for how Stanley Kubrick handled the story when converting it to film. So as I mentioned, Jack Torrance interviews for a job as a caretaker of the Overlook Hotel at the beginning of the movie, and the interviewers ask him if he thinks he'll be able to cope with the extreme isolation at the hotel over the course of the winter, and he explains that he's a writer and he's looking for a change of pace as well as an excuse to focus on his work, and he assures him that he and his wife and son will enjoy the experience. The two men conducting the interview feel compelled to inform him about an incident that happened with a prior caretaker who watched the Overlook several years back. They explain that the man basically went nuts and murdered his family before ending his own life. One thing I notice about this film every time I see it is how it uses incidental music scoring. Initially, it's very sparingly used, but slowly it's integrated more and more into the different scenes to convey tension and tone, and does so very effectively. Although at times I might say it's a little overdone or over the top, there's a lot of bone-chilling imagery throughout this movie that is truly iconic. A great deal of it has been imitated and spoofed in a variety of movies since it came out. I'll be honest, I've never been a particularly huge fan of Stanley Kubrick's movies, but I won't deny that the man had a tremendous gift for shooting movies. They look very striking in a lot of ways and have an inventive, picturesque quality about them. It's established very early in this movie that the son Danny has what they call an imaginary friend named Tony that he claims lives in his mouth, but it is quickly revealed that there is more to him than that. And with Tony, Danny has premonitions and is able to communicate telepathically with certain people. The shift in Jack's behavior is almost immediate once they move into the hotel in the fall. He tends to get very short with his wife Wendy when she interrupts his work early on, and if you can believe it, he really doesn't get much better from there. It seems like even the healthiest and happiest family would struggle to maintain good mental health in such a situation, and the Torrance family seem like they are not in a good place to expose themselves to such a scenario voluntarily, especially given some of their recent history. Although I will say I enjoy this movie, I often struggle sitting through it without getting restless at times. I respect Kubrick's style and attention to detail. He just didn't tell stories in the same way that other filmmakers do, so it requires some adjustment for me as a viewer. The performances are honestly all pretty fantastic though, and the story does go to great lengths to provide some truly horrifying aspects that come from both realistic and fantasy sources. Alright, on to ratings. IMDb 8.4, Letterboxd 4.2, Rotten Tomato critic score 83%, Rotten Tomato audience score 93%. Personal rating 4 out of 5 stars. This is an all-time classic horror film that does an excellent job immersing viewers, which allows for heightened scares. Whether you end up liking it or not, much of the movie's best scenes will stick with you for a very long time, and that's more than enough reason to at least give it a shot. Alright everyone, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye now.